platform, but also, Andy, it reflects the involvement of the Wessex in Royal Navy service 40 years ago in the Falklands and Southern Ocean.
Indeed, and as we talked about very early on in the show, exactly 40 years ago today, Wessex was lost during the exercise attack on HMS Glamorgan. That was an anti-submarine version, the HAS-3. Glamorgan came under attack, turned its stern onto the missile. The missile came over the top of the deck, didn't hit the hull, went straight through the hatch. Wessex was temporarily freed.
Yeah, both some older HAS-3s like that and HU-5 like this one. This variant, Wellington variant, that was developed for the Royal Marines Commando support role, served in the Falklands, supporting Special Forces members of the SAS and the SPS, Special Focused Service, moving their materials around the South Atlantic Theatre. But it did indeed come at a cost. 9 Wessex were lost there, 6 of them in the sinking of the Atlantic Conveyor that we were talking about at the start of the programme in relation to the Chinook.
And the incredible feat of air that ship during the retaking of South Georgia lost 2 Wessex there in atrocious weather conditions. It's worth researching online or reading some of the books on the subject. Incredible story. Wessex trying to extract special forces, storm force 12 weather. I can remember reports of Wessex being moved sideways, sliding down the glacier before rolling over.
This was a licensed-produced development of the Sikorsky S-58, an American design, because Westland were in I'd say they were in the time of the whirlwind. Prior to the Wessex, the RAF made air sea rescue helicopter. The S-58 was shipped to the UK, re-engined with British power plant, single Navy Gazelle, and it first took to the air in May 1957. June 1958, Wessex took to the air. And of course, in addition to supporting our search and rescue things, the interior was ordered first by the Royal Navy as far as the British services were concerned. The HAS-1 anti-submarine platform came into service in 1961. It was the first anti-submarine helicopter for the Navy to have been designed as such from the outset, and also the first of that role with gas turbine power. So it really was a huge advance on everything that was before. Far more capable at night and in bad weather. It really did indeed was a great deal of that role for many, many years. The ROV was done as well, everything to do with the wind on this one.
And in fact, that's one of the main design considerations. The aircraft kind of has a mount, yes, the nose, and that actually opens up, and that's the front end of the engine. It's actually angled upwards at 45 degrees. The pilot, the aircrew, basically sit astride them. The crankshaft and the gearbox is behind and above. It's amazing to think the engines are basically positioned at an angle of 45 degrees to the aircraft. Remarkable.
And the pilot, when you see it on the ground, you really get an appreciation of how high it is. The pilot is really up in the heavens in the Wessex. happens to it. It's outright performance transformed, though it turns out it's by no means certain at that point that the Mustang would necessarily get the marks of Merlin that it later got, which gave it such outstanding range capability. So it claimed that that's